Hello, good morning, afternoon. Actually, it's afternoon. Hello, I'm Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. And we had a name change. So if you notice, the name of this group, or of this channel rather, has changed. It is now Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Support by Queen Being. And hopefully that helps us link it back to Queen Being so we always know where to go if we need extra support or extra help. And hello, Angela and Karina and anyone else who's here. Welcome. And yeah, we had a name change. So there's that. Nothing else has changed except now there'll be a little subscribe button somewhere down there. I can't see it, but you guys probably can. Operation Tigers. Well, we tried that one. Didn't think it would fly. Okay. Hey, E-Rock and Suzanne and Life's Revival and Leslie and Fashion Family. Woo, we're all here. Okay. So we're going to talk about closure today. Closure after narcissistic abuse. I could just start laughing now because there's no such thing, right? There is such thing. We find it within ourselves. Okay. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just saying I have to find everything a cosmic joke in a sense, because otherwise it's sad, right? it's terrible. It's terrible that we can't have normal, healthy relationships with people because of their inability to be non-toxic. So if this is a good topic for you and you enjoy this type of help, hit the subscribe button. And hit the thumbs up if you enjoy this one. And also, if you would like notification of my going live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, Liselive, and I will send you a text notification about 10 minutes prior. Today was 5, but close to that. And then, is that it? I think that's the business, right? So let's get started. All right. So, also, if you need information about healing from narcissistic abuse, about recovery, about your own forward movement in life, getting through this, moving on, evolving, all the good stuff, head over to queenbeing.com. If you need information about coaching with me or any one of our other coaches, head over there as well. There's coaching pages for each of us. And if you need information about group coaching, see the main description of this. There is a link to the group coaching that is currently going on. It's a great group. And it's a join anytime kind of thing. So, okay, let's get going. Closure. Okay. So I'm going to read a couple things about questions that were asked regarding closure. I have to pull them up here because that's how I roll. Okay. That's not it. That's a picture of something else. Okay. Okay, let me read what you guys are saying first, since you are here. Leslie is saying, great to be here. I love to hear how to deal with the guilt I have when I tried to set boundaries. Okay. Boundaries with whom? And what is the guilt? What is it? How does it come about? What happens? Tell me just a tiny bit more, or a little story or something so I can answer to it. Hi, Nikki and Fancy Sprinkles. I haven't got to say your name in a little while. Hello. Life after toxic relationship. Hello. You're struggling with the closure right now. Okay. Tell me what you're struggling with and we can address it more personally that way. Reading to see if there's any questions before I start. Vilified for setting boundaries with siblings. Okay. Yeah. We can talk about that. Let's get going on this and then the boundaries as well. All right. Because it's all part of it. Boundaries are like a key thing to so many pieces of your healing, right? And then things come up and you have guilt and whatever around it. So tell me what that's about and what that feels like. Wow, my name got really long, didn't it? That's okay. That's okay. We like it. All right. All right. So closure. We can't get it from them because what happens is boundaries for setting no contact and guilt for that. So boundaries with setting no contact with a toxic person, and then you feel guilt if you break the no contact. And then you feel guilt again if you break the no contact. Okay. So there's all kinds of mixed feelings is what I mean. Hi, Debbie and Nikki Ann. All right. Okay, going all over the place now. center and ground. Okay, moving on. So when we have a discard or we leave a narcissist, toxic person, whatever, a person that can't be accountable to their own responsibilities within a relationship, emotionally or otherwise, can you see just from that description why you can't get closure? Because they don't have accountability. We think of the narcissist as an evil person or a monster or a person that, we think we have all these words to describe them. But if you break it down, it's the lack of empathy and the lack of accountability combined that makes it impossible to have an adult conversation with them, right? It makes it impossible to have the type of conversation that would require two mature adults or even two young adults or even children to have the level of communication that you can speak to someone from a place of your own accountability and them having theirs and creating closure at the end of anything, right? It's basically, I'm taking my toys and go. That's what the narcissist does. I'm out of here. I'm going. You can't have me. Yeah. It's this childish reaction. How can you create closure? How can you get it from that? You can't. That's not where you get it. The way we seek closure is within ourselves. It's in creating your life outside of that toxic dynamic. It's in separating from that, not in re-engaging with it, that you find the closure. It's not the same kind of closure that you would have in a mature, healthy relationship when it ends, or in leaving a job when it ends, in something where there's a set protocol. So there's no set protocol with a narcissist except to give them their way. That's the only protocol. And their way is going to always be to lack accountability. They're never, even when they give you pieces of it, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I did these bad things, I'm so sorry. That doesn't feel like closure. All that feels like is false and lies. Part of you knows it, and the other part of you wants to believe it, so it pulls you right back in. The only closure is in separation and complete detachment emotionally from that narcissist. That's it. And so the way to get there, you can figure it out, what I'm going to say next, right? Self-care, self-focus, self-direction, and figuring out what it is in you that is tied to the dynamic with that narcissist so that you can heal it. Does that make sense? Okay, what are you guys talking about here? It's against the law in Narclands. It is. There is. It's because the only law is their law, and that means don't be accountable for anything. Therefore, don't give closure. My closure was having the strength to walk away, yes, and realizing I'm of worth. Right there. You said it. That's it. Not saying I don't struggle. Of course, and that's the thing. It's not like you get closure and all of a sudden, like, the sun comes out and the rainbow's over your head and like all the beautiful things and the birds are tweeting. It's not like that. It's all of a sudden you realize I have power within myself and I have my own agency back and my ability to act upon that agency. That's the closure that is, that's the feeling that it is, instead of, oh, we're at peace and this is all amicable. It isn't about creating an amicable relationship outside after. That's what closure is when you have, like, say you have two friends that just can't be friends anymore and they decide together, or they have a thing and then they talk about it and they say, yeah, we're not good for each other. And, you have an adult conversation about it. You leave amicably. You don't dislike the person. They don't dislike you. It's over, but it's not, there's no enmeshment. There's no entanglement. There's no relationship anymore, right? It's ending, closure. That's more healthy. With a narcissist, if there's any pull back, you're back in the stream of their world. So that's not the closure we're looking for. The closure we're looking for is exactly what Darla said. Is closing the door on it. Done. Walking away and knowing your worth, even though it hurts, even though, right? Okay. They don't want us to have they don't want us to have closure. And it is absolutely their way of controlling us, because if we have this, because you hear what closure is, right? It means you no longer own me. You no longer get to control me. You no longer matter, narcissist person. You don't matter. Okay? Go figure it out for yourself is what it means. And that's like the worst. That's no supply. So closure is no supply going toward the narcissist. So stop looking to the poison for the solution. Stop looking toward the narcissist. A lot of times why people break no contact is because they want closure. They want to know, is this real? Are they really this bad? Yes, they are. That's why you're not with them. Okay. You can't keep looking backwards to find the answer forward. Not in this situation. It's not going to help because they will always suck you back under. And then you feel like, was it Erica that said, sick and guilty for breaking the no contact? It's because you know better, right? But we do it because we're seeking something that we should be filling for ourselves. We can't rely on them for anything, nothing, especially closure. I have the worst tickle nose. Sorry. Okay. All right. You feel out of sorts. I feel a little out of sorts too. Closure came when I decided it was time to close out that part of my past. Exactly. You can hear the difference between that kind of closure and the way we think of it on some, I don't know, Lifetime movie, right? It's not romantic. This is final. This is a finalization of things and an ending and a moving forward with your life, no longer having the attachment to anything to do with the narcissist. That's the closure. My kids, my hubby, I try to set boundaries with, okay, we're back to boundaries here. Let's talk about boundaries for a second. And we'll come back to closure. So what was that? It's like a little moth. I don't know. I feel like I have all these plants in here that likely need something. All right. Okay, Leslie, back to you here. My kids and hubby. Okay, so setting boundaries with your children and your husband. I try to set boundaries and I stand up for myself, but no one listens nor respects it. They refuse to do anything I've asked, or they keep doing what I've asked them to stop. Totally get that. Okay. Then I get angry, try to enforce it. I get tired of the anger and fighting, and I give in to the peace. Plus, I get triggered about possible abandonment. And I don't remember the situation offhand. Who is the narcissist? Is there one in your house, or is this? Is anyone in here talking? I'm assuming the children aren't toxic, but is he toxic? That's the question. Remind me, because like when I'm here, I forget who's who and what's what. I just talk, unless it's specific. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you're setting boundaries, and then you try to stand up for yourself, and you're all alone in facing other people in your household to respect you. No one is giving you the respect that you deserve for the things that you're saying. That takes time and on re-establishing different levels of boundaries. So what I do here, because I get that with the kids, I totally get me. That is the way with kids. Okay. A lot of people are going to go, oh yeah, because that's kids, right? They don't listen if they don't have to, unless they're the type that will, and most of them aren't, or many of them aren't. So let me see what you're saying. If you haven't answered. Okay. So assuming he is not toxic, the husband, I would have a conversation with him about being heard and being supported and backed when things are asked of the children, and find a way to talk to him. If he is toxic, there is not much you can do to force him to or not force, but to create boundaries with him. So we can answer to your own. You said you had guilt about this. Tell me, is it because you get angry when you're trying to enforce it, or where does the guilt come in? All right. I'll let you answer that, and I'll keep going. And then we'll come back to the boundaries. Okay. Did they see us as toys? Is that how they think? Yes, they see us as objects, toys, objects, tools, whatever, to be used for their purpose. They see us as extensions of themselves. Sometimes they see us as, they don't see us as individuals with, I mean, I think they know that we're individuals and we have feelings and thoughts, but they don't have empathy. So they don't relate in the same way. It's all about their needs. It's all about their wants and who can come into their life to fill that need. That's it. Okay. He told me you just got your closure. Bye. Okay. right? That's when you go, okay. Accountability, self-reflection, it's just not there. It's so crazy making to try and find closure with a narcissist. You can't with a narcissist. It's crazy making because it doesn't exist. All right. My own experience was walking through it, trying to I can talk so rationally through them. I can dissociate and I can analyze, judge, and big picture see my own emotions when I'm in a situation and the other person's. I can relate back and forth. Oh, I see you're going through this. It looks that would probably be really hard. I can see why you think that. Well, what that does to me is this, and I can sit there for hours and analyze. So it's not like I'm like throwing emotion into the situation that then sets off a whole thing. So having this back and even at that level where it's like completely removed, detached, and dissociated, still no closure. Because even though the narcissist was saying, I hear you, that sounds like that would be hard if that were true, that would be hard. If that were really true, what you're saying. So see, there's never accountability, even when logically stated, even when calmly and rationally stated, hysterically stated, showing all the emotion. It doesn't matter. There's no accountability. They can't. So, and even when they give you an ounce of accountability, they'll pull it and do a flip. All right. It'll suddenly be that you hurt their feelings or whatever, and they'll blow up. So you can't, there is no going to them. There was never going to them. They never had your back and they were never there to support you. So why would they now? Right? At the end, they wouldn't. They'd be more, if anything, they'd be more self-protective than ever at the end. So you can see why it's not useful. You have to move forward into your own healing and realize that you matter, like Darla said. Nikki, what are you saying? They see us like a brand new cell phone. Yep. Excited when shiny, when new, and replaceable when it flaws, and old news in 1 week. All right. Once you figure out, oh, it does, that's a little bit different. If I touch it here, it does this. If I do that, it does that. Bored now. On they go. Right. Okay. Debbie, hello. Another Debbie. No, the same Debbie. I don't know. They come on so strong with the love bombing, begging for one more chance. And that would be the Hoover, right? So you can, if you try to engage with breaking no contact and going back for this closure, because maybe you're going back thinking, I just need to see it one more time. I need to believe it. I need to know. I need to hear it. I need to hear it from their mouth. I need whatever we need from them. Realize you're not going to get your needs met from a toxic person. You're not. They're not, that's not their function in life. Their function is to serve their own needs, and that's it. They never did serve your need. Love bombing was manipulation. It wasn't there to give to you. There's a difference between giving and in the way a person who enjoys giving and who knows how to give and receive gives, and baiting someone with providing them what you see they need in order to receive something for yourself. And that's what they do. Okay. So, so yeah, that's a Hoover, and those are to be avoided because they will not create closure. What can happen sometimes is people see the truth after a few of those. Oh yeah. And that doesn't create so much closure as it does a realization that nothing's going to change. Whatever it takes, get there as soon as you can, because then there's the healing after that. We didn't want to be held accountable, kept telling me we will never see eye to eye because I wanted to know why his behavior changed so drastically. Yeah, you won't see eye to eye because you have empathy. You can't, right? Can't see through their eyes unless it's like the way I look at it, like I'm able to kind of, because of the way that my empathy works, I'm able to, I don't experience the narc. Like I don't experience them as if I'm feeling what they're feeling, but it's more like I get it. And it's dark and it's empty and it's a horrible place. And that's why I spent so many years in grief and in like completely, I don't know how many hours I spent in bed because of it, drained, completely dry, because that's empathizing with a narcissist. Can't empathize with someone without empathy and have it not completely drain you. Anyway, that's another topic. But let's see, what are we saying here? You think it's the guilt. He agrees and then he does nothing. I think a slow process. Scoot over. Okay, that's better. A slow process for Leslie of choosing your battles, picking one thing at a time. This is what I've done with teenagers and children that are not wanting to listen, is I choose one thing. Everything else I have to let go. And then I choose the next thing and I have to let go. And that way I'm not getting engaged in the drama of them saying no. I'm just putting my foot down and drawing a line on one thing. Does that make sense? Slow and steady. And if you have someone that's being complacent and not helping you, then you don't do it when they're around. You do it when you're by yourself with them and make it a tiny thing. And then when they do that thing, obviously you give them appreciation for them doing that thing. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate when you listen to me. It makes me feel heard and I enjoy that. Thank you. Bam, done. Or I'm glad we're working as a team right now. Thank you. End of sentence. But if you're trying to push everything all at once and set hard boundaries, people sometimes need boundaries incrementally increased, especially if you were like way down here to begin with and you're trying to get way up here. It's like little baby steps up a ladder. See if that helps. Your own guilt for it. You deserve to live the life that serves yourself and other people as well around you. And you deserve to, the respect from other people. It doesn't mean you're always right and your boundaries are always like the perfect thing for the situation, but then there's a discussion should happen, right? That's compromise and that's living in relationship and in family with other people. But if there are specific things that are important and clear, you deserve to have those respected. So understand inside yourself, you're not doing this to be mean. You're doing this to create harmony and to help the whole household. And keep that as your focus in tiny steps. That's what I think. Okay, back to closure. Okay, see if I can do this 2-topic thing in my head. Once I started to enforce boundaries, with a toxic person, yes. Once you start to enforce boundaries, the abuse can get worse, and it can get they don't like that. But that's when you can get out, right? You see it, and that's when you see the truth, and you leave. They're little children in grown-up bodies, and unfortunately, this is true. We're taught to respect people, and respecting a narcissist brings you down the rabbit hole. It sure does. Okay, where are we? Mine never hoovered me. I reached out to him, and he would come over and act like nothing happened. And once he got what he wanted, right back to the abuse. He would look me in the eye and tell me it wouldn't happen again. Yeah, you see, that's never-ending loop. Once you have had a discard, all you enter after that is Groundhog's Day. That's the Hoover or you pulling them back in. Sometimes the silence from them can be a form of the withholding. I consider it all trying to pull you back in, especially if they'll come back. All right. It does feel weird trying to empathize with them, doesn't it? It's horrible. It's an icky feeling. I get into trouble when I expect a narcissist to act like a normal human being. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And that's when your head, well, at least for me, that's when my head would get confused as to what reality was, because I would be expecting him to behave like a normal person, because they almost do, especially the coverts, almost do. It's almost there. And at times you see the light turn on. Oh, it's going to change. It's not change. All it is them trying on a new mask for a few minutes. And then bam, they're back to their old ways. It's not change. It's just you give them a new concept. They try it on as a new mask, and then they slip back to their normal way of abusing, because that's how they are. I always say they show us who they are over and over and over, but we don't want to believe them. Yep. We don't want to believe them. We're unable to see it because of the cognitive dissonance that happens from the trauma bonding. We get cognitive dissonance happens all the time. I should not eat that cake. I'm so going to eat that cake. I want it. I shouldn't have it. but I want it and I'm going to do it. And as you're eating, I remember eating this cake or whatever, doing it anyway. That's a form of that's totally going to fall on me as I'm sitting here. That's a form of, I know, cake. That's a form of cognitive dissonance when we know we shouldn't be doing something, but we're doing it anyway. And we do it we all do it. Everybody does it. But when it's tied to a trauma bond, it gets confusing because what happens is it makes us forget the abuse, just like it's making us forget the calories, kind of. We still have guilt, or whatever we're feeling. We still have the knowing. We still have the knowing that something's not right. We push it aside. Then at the same time, if they're love bombing you or if they're giving you breadcrumbs, you're being filled with oxytocin. And that then makes you bond and fall back in love with them. And it makes you feel good. So you forget the abuse even more. And we're doing a similar pattern to how they do not be accountable. We're not being accountable to our own lives. It's not, it takes an awareness and sometimes just getting tough with yourself in order to get past that and say, oh, wait a minute, I'm totally slipping. I see what's happening and I'm not doing this anymore. You have to get intolerant and fed up for it to be enough, right? Okay. Not fair, no cake. I'm sorry. You have ice cream. That's better than cake. I say cake because I don't like cake. Otherwise, I want the ice cream. Okay. All right. Mine always held the neutral ground. Oh my gosh. So much higher than thou, aren't they? When they hold their neutral ground. It's so passive aggressive too, isn't it? He acted like he could take me or leave me. Oh yeah. Indifference from the avoidant and toxic narcissist. Yep. Then when he was with me, he would tell me he loved me and missed me. Mine is definitely covert, hot and cold. Yep. I know the type there, Darla. They are no fun and you deserve so much more. Felt like a robot. They do, don't they? Even when they're being loving, it's like somebody flipped the switch to loving mode and then back into, I think we were with the same person too. There's a few of you in here who I'm sure it was the same. How many times have you heard that? But it's true. There's patterns to the way they behave that are very familiar. My ex used to ignore me too. Eventually I realized that no answer is also an answer. That's right. No answer. Okay. They take the higher ground. They fake the higher ground. I like it. Yes, they do. Okay, so let's look at some things about closure here to take back your power. Okay, so we were talking about how closure is not in re-engaging, right? It's not in re-engaging and in discussion. It's not in understanding. It's not even in sending them a letter telling them everything they did. It doesn't work. Okay. I have yet to hear it actually work. Well, maybe it would work for one in in some regard. I still want to do a letter to the narcissist and then maybe do that this week. I'm not going to publish mine. I'm going to reword it. Didn't work, but it was fabulous. Actually, what it worked to do was create an absolute rift where he will never contact me. So, because I called him out. So, in a sense, is that closure? No. It was a finality. It allowed me to create my own closure because I knew I did the thing that I knew. So here's the thing. If you do the thing, if they're not dangerous, okay, physically to you, or in a way where they can smear you to the point of, whatever. If you do the thing that they will offend their egos so much that they absolutely can't see in themselves, they absolutely cannot accept in themselves, and you say the thing or do the thing, then stop, never apologize, and don't look back. Telling him that, the stuff I did it. And I crossed the line with the potential sociopath that meant it would mean him admitting truth in order to hoover me. Like admitting it on a big level. Can't do that. Gone. But I'm getting off topic here. But you see, it didn't create closure for me. I had to then find my closure. I had to then find the peace that not allowing that in my life was the right thing. That's the problem. It's like, even if we know who they are, even if we get to the point where they know we know this is it. He knew I knew what he was. End. What can they do then? All they can do then is say, take me as I am, and get on your knees and beg me to take me as I am. And then maybe I will a little bit, but it's going to change. It's going to be more my way because now you know what I am. They're not going to say it like that, but that's how it plays out, right? There's no going back. There's only worse and worse and worse at every time. All right. So let go. Letting go of them is the beginning of closure. Do not re-engage. Don't fall for the hoovers. Okay. Know what's happening. You're hoovered. Step away. You'll want to so bad, like believe what's happening in the moment. You want to hear the words that they're saying. It feels like closure. It's not. It's a hook back in, and that's super scary, unhealthy, and not good for you. So, all right. So let's look at, what did I write here? This is a long time ago I wrote this out for closure. So I have to refamiliarize as we talk here. So some ways, let me read what you guys are saying, then we'll come back to that. They do hate getting called out. Yeah, they do. It's crazy how you can see things differently once you are away from the abuse, isn't it? Because the cognitive dissonance isn't as strong because the trauma bonds are broken or are breaking, and they're weakening, if nothing else. And you see clarity, right? You start reading and reading on support groups and reaching out to other survivors and seeing the pattern over and over and over again. And you think, okay, something's off here. This is happening to more than one person. This isn't just me. They keep us so isolated, and everything is so insular that we don't see the forest for the trees, right? So once we see it, we can't unsee it. Once you realize for yourself, that is the only way to escape. You have to realize it for yourself. You have to see them for who they are, and you have to have self-worth enough to not tolerate it. Right? I don't know what made me think trying to guilt a narcissist into having empathy was a productive use of my energy. That's a good point, Nikki Ann. I didn't realize that they were wired differently and couldn't. Even when we realize it, we still think it'll help. That's the sad part, because it doesn't make any sense to a brain with empathy. To a person who's walking around who has empathy, it makes zero sense that someone wouldn't feel guilty for hurting you the way they do. And flipping the dialogue to it being about them. It makes no sense. We learn that as little children, that, you don't pull the puppy's ears, it hurts, right? We don't, and it's like, it makes no sense. So it's not necessarily that there's any reason that something's wrong with you. It's actually because something's right with you, that it was very difficult to accept. All right. Hi, Robin. I think there's a point where you have to give up on two-way closure. There is no two-way closure. They don't want closure. They want constant hoover. They want supply. Why would they want closure? They don't. Okay. I'm just getting to the point of having true closure within myself. Excellent. What's helping you? No, I don't want to leave the site. Why is it trying to make me leave? Cancel. It just tried to kick me out. All right, I get the hint. No, I'm kidding. Okay, there. Wow, my whole thing froze up. I do not know am I plugged in? I am. I don't know. There's always something. Technology is a thing. Okay, I missed something, but I can't scroll back. If I miss something, it's not letting me scroll. I don't know what's happening. I'm afraid to push this. What's going to happen if I do that? Oh, it worked. Okay, sorry. Technical difficulty. Give me a minute. Did I miss something somebody asked? If I did, please repeat it. Clarity is beautiful and refreshing, like starting over to a beautiful new life. It is, very much so. They take both the negative and the positive supply from their targets, Bonnie says. They take both the negative and the positive. They need both the negative and the positive supply. All that baloney about them hating drama, yeah, they hate it when they're caught. They hate it when the fingers being pointed at them for the stuff they should be accountable to, but they don't hate drama. They need it. They totally need it. It's supply. They need all the attention and the focus being poured out onto them. They may feel cornered when it's the wrong type in the moment for them, but then all they have to do is gaslight you, and they're getting different supply, right? You see, when it's the type of interaction they don't want, all they have to do is deny, not be accountable, shift the blame, flip the script. There's a whole litany of things they can just do, and suddenly the supply is the type they like. Does that make sense? Crazy. It's creepy when you think about it, how quick and easy it is to manipulate. And manipulate why? So you get supply. Yep. Okay. And it also takes away from the actual having to be accountable. All right. So back to ways to get closure, and why no contact is important. Well, we're talking about a little bit, but we'll talk a little bit about no contact. But let's talk about ways to get closure within yourself. Take back your power for yourself. Take back your ownership of your own life. You have given it over, not intentionally, but because of the nature of the way narcissistic abuse works, to a narcissist, to another person. Another person has been in control of your emotions. They've been in control of every aspect of your life. Take it back. Okay? You take it back by cutting them off and cutting out the pull to them, by turning toward yourself, turning toward positivity, surrounding yourself with people who support you, surrounding yourself with things that support you, surrounding yourself with things that bring you joy, things that you like, things that are new and exciting to engage with. Learn a lesson, take a class, book a trip, plan trips that you're never going to go on, fantasize, get in your own head, in your own dreams, in your own life. If something triggers or reminds you, switch it and move to something else. We were going to go to Hawaii together. Okay, forget that. I'm going to, let's see, the other direction. I'm going east. I'm not going west. Flip it in your own head, switch it around, and do something that creates a life for yourself. Keep focusing on you. Set your boundaries with people around, so that you are protecting what is what you need in life from the constant giving and pouring out to other people that could use you, or say no when you need to. Do things that help you heal. If while you're healing, you need to say no to some things, set the boundary and say no. You know what I'm saying? Like, figure out what's working for you to keep your focus on you. If you're self-isolating, get out. If you're out too much, get in a little more. Find your balance. Figure out where in your day are you wanting to slip and break no contact, and plan things for that part of that day so that you don't break no contact. Have people you can connect with, have accountability to yourself through maybe asking people to help you with that, or having a list of the abuse so that you don't break no contact, things like that. These are all ways to get yourself back. Follow your passion. Find your passion. If you don't know what it is, baby steps. What would make you wake up in the morning? Things like that. What is joyful? What brings you pleasure? What makes you feel alive? If you don't know, start experimenting. Get out there and explore. We have to re-engage with our life. We have spent our lives, not just our relationship, our entire life, our being has been given over to somebody else to control. And it takes time and energy to pull it back. And that's the closure, because what you do there is you slam the door on anyone who tries to come in and take that from you, especially the toxic person you already know. All right. Okay. Am I making sense here? I'm kind of going off. I made a list of all the stuff I couldn't do. Oh, I like that. I made a list of all this. Nikki, you're the best. You're all good. You're all so great. You don't even know how great you guys are, do you? You're all great. Okay. I made a list of all the stuff I couldn't do when I was with my ex, and now I'm working through the list. It's been great. I love it. I love it. Make those lists. My trauma therapist had me track my day and hour for 1 week. It really helped see where I made small changes towards self-care. Exactly. Track yourself. If you notice like a pattern, it's almost always at night, or like certain times of day when maybe you used to have contact with them. There's trigger times, right? There's times when things come up. Plan something in those times. Prepare. You can't go into winter with your summer clothes. You got to go through fall, and you got to transition. If you try to go from where you are to a known time without any preparation, of course it's going to be difficult. Don't dread nighttime. Plan nighttime out so that you can experience something different in order to change your neural pathways so that it's not always painful. If we wait for these things to go away, some time does heal some things. With narcissistic abuse, though, it tends to not for a lot of people. So time can actually make it worse because we sit and perseverate during those times, or we sit and cry, or we sit and worry. Need to cry. That's okay. But what are you doing while you're crying? Are you sitting there trying to not break no contact, holding your phone, waiting to text them with the message already written? Or are you working on gratitude and self-care and nurturing and asking yourself what you need? So it's how we use the time, right? Those are all ways to take it back for yourself instead of reaching out to someone who's just going to hurt you. All right. Let's see. What do we have here? What are we saying? How do you get out of the poverty mentality after lots of narcissistic financial abuse and control? Affirmation, trust in yourself, finding your worth, feeling unemployable and unworthy, looking at worth in a different way, looking at your worth and your value, not in a monetary way, but in a more holistic way, perhaps could help, because you're talking about the mentality. I don't know how to get you out of financial crisis. That's going to be your path in life. And I'm not a financial coach, right? So, but I can talk about the belief pattern. The belief pattern that holds us locked in there is looking at, it isn't easy, right? Looking at the pattern. What am I trying to say? I was going somewhere with it. What was I saying? Getting out of the poverty mentality. Am I making any sense? Did I make any sense, Iraq Freedom, or do I need to keep going? Because I lost my train of thought with this. Unworthy. Unworthy. Okay. Look at that word and figure out, okay, I'll give you a quick exercise. What do you want to feel instead? What do you want to feel? Write it down. Make a sentence as if you already feel it. Make a paragraph as if you already feel it. In the moment, no negatives. Only positives. Let's word it that way. Only positives. Look at that as your belief, as your new belief. Hold it as your new belief and carry it around as your new belief and use it. It's yours. You created it. Try that. It's the mentality you're asking about, not the actual logistics. The logistics will come differently, right? But the mentality is a lot to do with it. Okay, so Okay. Robin, what are you saying? I've tried self-care, mental. Okay, this is for how you got closure. Okay. Self-care, mental redirection, reading lists of things that were negative. Sometimes it would help and sometimes not. Exactly. These are tools, right? It's the most it's those difficult days true closure seems impossible. Sounds easy, but it's not. All right. Okay. It does. It seems impossible, but those are just difficult days and they pass, right? We have to remember progress isn't linear. Healing from narcissistic abuse is not linear. It is all over the place. There are layers of it. It is so pervasive of a manipulation and is so toxic to all of the areas of your life. If you look at it and you just break down your life and you think, okay, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, my self-worth, my self-esteem, and you list all the areas of your life, that's where they've been. They have navigated through your whole being, right? They've navigated through your whole life. They're pervasive. Their stuff gets everywhere. They leave traces of themselves. Have you ever watched, did any of you experience this where their stuff would be everywhere? And even if they wouldn't live with you, they would somehow, stuff would invade in a way that was sort of like cluttering all over the place. That should have been my first sign, right? But anyway, it's all over. So when it's all over, how can it be linear? It's not like you can just take an eraser and like swipe it through the whole thing and it's all better. You may be healing in one area and another area is screaming out for attention. So then we go down and we fix that area, and then another area is screaming for attention, and we go and we work in that area, and it's intertwined. But sometimes when we're focused on healing, like say we're having perseverating thoughts that we can't stop thinking about contacting them. I can't stop it. Well, if we're all up here all the time, no, you can't stop it. So think about other parts of yourself. Bring it into your body. Okay, I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to go and get in the garden and get dirty. I'm going to go dig something. I'm going to dig a hole and fill it back in. It doesn't matter. I'm going to use my body. Gets you out of your head for a while. It lets that perseverating part of your brain that's just spinning and spinning around the same pathway chill out, because you're doing something with your body that takes focus, makes your energy come into your body. So you're using a different part of yourself. That's how healing to me works. Okay. You use different parts to heal other parts. If you're just trying to go at the one thing, it isn't gonna we're organic and we're like integrated. We're not one thing, right? Okay. All right. Like accountability partner. Excellent. Tremendously helped. It's been the biggest help. And me. Well, you and you did it for you as well. You know what I think the biggest thing is, Robin, is your dedication to it. I think the biggest thing is your focus and your drive and your choice that you made to make your life better, and keep going, because you can not only now heal, but now you can evolve and perpetually, continually for the rest of your life, open up to yourself and to the better things for your life. Keeping the way that you learn to work through this narcissistic abuse recovery. Does that make sense? You have now learned tools for how to work with your own psyche, your own body, your own heart, right? Use them to open up to creating more for yourself in your life. It's excellent. It's how we can flip this around to being a positive. All right. And remember that every single one of you, even watching a video, you're doing something for yourself that is the key to it, is that this is it's self-work. Okay. This isn't just, it's not a passive healing. It's super active. It's super involved, and it's being dedicated and focused to your own life and to your own well-being. That helps. It helps with the closure. It helps with the no contact. Okay. So let's talk no contact real quick before I have to go in like 5 minutes. All right. And anything else that made you cry? Good tears, I hope. I'm about to cry too, because I'm so happy when I see that, and I recognize it, right? I recognize it in myself, but I also recognize it in people when they're stepping up to meet themselves. It's beautiful. It's how you can then give to other people, right? You're not giving from an empty pouring out. You're giving from a place of power and strength, because you know how. Excellent. All right. You feel numb right now? That's okay too. Sometimes we do. So maybe, back into the sensory, back into the body. If you're emotionally numb, get into your body. Get into your body and enjoy something, or just notice. You don't even have to have an emotion about it. Just notice. Oh, that feels warm. Oh, that feels cold. That feels dry. That feels itchy. That feels whatever. Just notice your body so that you have some experience of your day, right? Helps you be moment to moment and be more in the mindfulness of your moment and your day. And and you're using a different part of yourself, like I was saying before. Instead of trying to make yourself feel with your emotions, when your emotions feel like they need to be numb, go feel with something else. Go feel with your senses. Go smell something, taste something, anything, whatever feels right. Step up, meet yourself head on. That's right, because you're right there for yourself, and you're the best. You know best what you need. That's the thing. Okay. All right. Sensory grounding. That's a good idea. Yes, it works. At least in the very least, you have a moment in your day where you've had a mindful moment, and then you can think about that as you go to sleep. Oh yeah, I remember what that felt like. Like sometimes I get spun out the other direction where I overfeel, but Like the feelings just get so big. I'm just in a wash of them. And it works in that case too. I remember just like last week that happened, and I stepped off a curb, and right as I stepped off a curb, this huge gust of wind came and it blew my hair back, and it was chilly. And I can literally still feel it on my skin if I think about it, because it shocked me into the moment, because I chose that moment to pay attention to that breeze and to welcome it like a friend washing over me. It snapped me out of my emotional like spinning. And then I started noticing what else was on the trail, and it brought me back into the moment. And I also felt the emotion stuff. So you may also feel numb at the same time. And that's okay. All right. So, okay. Follow your passion. What else do we have to say here? Let's talk a little bit about, so we talked about ways to get closure, being that it is a direct path back to yourself. Okay. Closure is closing the door on the narcissist by disconnecting, by not engaging, by focusing on you and creating a life for yourself. Let go of the romantic ideal that there is going to be some conversation between the two of you that makes things feel like something you think it should feel like. It's not. It's always going to be the same dance with them. It just is. Accept that. And focus on how you can make change, which is within yourself, to have the things that you need in your life. All right. And no contact. Why is that important? Can you see why it's important based on what we've talked about today? Every time you have contact, you are opening up the doors to the trauma bonds. Okay. It's worse every time. It pulls you back in. Even years later, it can do it. Okay. It's very difficult when you can't go no contact. Anyone who can't go no contact almost always says, I just wish I could be no contact after a few years, or after, enough time has gone by. Because at first, of course, the clinging and the back and forth drama and the dynamic doesn't quite feel like it would be a good thing. It feels like, okay, well, at least I can do this slowly for some people. But no contact it's for you. You're not trying to punish them. It's not about them. None of this is about them. We have to stop making things about them. We've made enough about them, right? It's now time to be about you, so that you can focus on the life that you want, and so that you can then give and take and receive and give and receive from people who are positive, who know how to give and receive, right? So yeah, no contact. It's super important. If you break no contact, just notice what it feels like. I don't like the way I felt. Most people say, I knew I shouldn't be doing it while I was doing it. Their mind was telling them. They were sensing it in their body. I felt sick afterwards. I felt a rush. I felt anxious. I felt shaky. I felt adrenaline. These are the things I'm told all the time by people in coaching and in groups and whatnot. I felt guilt. I felt shame. I felt, all of the things it's themselves knowing the truth and doing something anyway. They're going with the cognitive dissonance instead of stepping back and taking the pain of withholding the urge, resisting the urge rather, to break the no contact. It can be so hard to not contact them. Guilty. I've broken no contact. I think all of us probably have. Most of us, not all of us, probably have at some point. I've done it. I know what it feels like. Okay. I know for me, I don't know what it feels like for you. I know that that was my response. I totally did that. I just stepped into it. Now I got to go through another week of trauma bonds. Yay. Or whatever. That was my thought. Like, oh, here we go again. Groundhog's Day, right? Going back to the same old loop. What we're doing what we're seeking when we're breaking no contact is we're seeking something to satisfy the dopamine that has been building in us from the not having contact. We're used to having love bomb and devalue. We're used to our dopamine rising as we're seeking the crumb of affection. So we're used to going to that person for relief from it. So basically, we're used to having the poison be the antidote, the poison and the antidote, the poison and the antidote over and over again. So when the poison's far away, we're still seeking it, right? Because of the trauma bonds and because of the way because of our emotions, because of our mind, because it's hard, right? So we're still seeking, and there's nothing to relieve it. What relieves it is that oxytocin hit that comes when we get the breadcrumbs. Find ways to raise your own oxytocin level. Find other directions for the dopamine. All right? Seek something else, something positive in your life. Refocus. It's all about refocusing on you. It's always about that. And that doesn't make you selfish or self-centered. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying walk around like, I'm so great, I'm the only thing that matters, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying that we don't focus on ourselves after narcissistic abuse, usually hardly at all. We focus outward on the narcissist, always, more. You want to, engage. You want to talk about them. You want to, in fact, in trauma bond groups before, I have we'll talk about them, and then at a certain point we cut it off. We don't talk about them anymore. We focus on us. In the self-care groups that I did, there was no narcissist talk. Self-care only. That's all we did. Like if they wanted to talk about the narcissist, I'm sorry, go to SPAN. You can do it there. In here, we keep it just for us. Okay. Find ways to make that in your day just for you. It helps to get the breaks. Anyway, I'm really rambling now a lot and I have to go. So no contact is important. It is for you. I broke no contact at the time the promises and the abuse became shorter. It became motivating. They know. They know because it'll hook you back in. So you don't want it. It's never, you have to understand that they are what they are. End of sentence. There's no but maybe what ifs. If the maybe what ifs existed, do you want to spend 30 years of your life waiting to find out? Is it worth it? Is the pain worth it? Not usually, not when you logically think about it, okay? I always wanted to fix everyone's problems. That's a recipe for disaster. Right, except your own, which is this, right? Okay, and until you step up and start being your own friend, right? And taking care of yourself. So, and remember, none of this is selfish. This is all important for healthy individuals. Healthy people have self-focus, right? All right, you guys, anything before I have to go? Because I need to go pick up a kid. I'm not seeing any questions. And if I missed any, I'm sorry today. But okay. You're a recovering fixer. I think a lot of us are. Yeah, I think the fixing, we're people pleasers, we're givers, we're fawners, right? All right. Fix yourself. They are responsible for themselves. Can't always. Supporting someone is not fixing them. Let's put it that way. Supporting someone through, am I fixing you? Nope. You're fixing you. I'm just here to support. All right. I'm here to offer validation, information, an ear, some kindness. That's it. You're fixing you. I'm not doing it. Right? It's that. And that is, if I wanted to fix you, it would be a different talk, right? Okay. The fix-it syndrome. Yep. I don't have to fix myself if I'm trying to fix others. Nikki, again? Thank you. I love it. All right. I don't have to fix myself if I'm trying to fix others. Big statement. Fantastic to see in yourself, right? Looking within is harder, but it fixes the core problem, I think. Yes. You're brilliant. Yep. Yes. You don't have to fix yourself if it's a diversion tactic from working on what we need to be working on. It's saying if I fix someone else that I have worth when you have worth already, right? You just have to look and see it. All right. I have to go for real. And that was a good ending, but I know it was good. All right. I always tried to be there. Okay. All right. So, excuse me, hit the thumbs up, please, if you enjoy this. Notice that we have a name change. Oh, my phone's going to ring. Go away. It says telemarketer. It's now telling, does yours do that? It now tells me risk, scam risk. I don't answer those anyway. All right. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this, please. If you have not subscribed, there should actually be a little subscribe button now on there. Otherwise, find the subscribe and hit subscribe. If you need or would like text notifications to come to you before I go live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, Liselive as one word, hit send, and I will send you a text about 10 minutes prior to going on. That's the only one I send. If you need help, group support, peer support, information, all the good stuff, articles, videos, whatever, head over to queenbeing.com. You can also find links to coaching there for private coaching. I'm over there, and it's also in the comments section of every video. The main description, not the comments. And if you want information on group coaching, it's down below in the main description as well. We've got one group very active right now, and it's a great group. So if anyone needs that or wants it or wants information on it, you can find my email down there as well. If you have any questions or anything like that, ever hit me up. Any topics you want talked about, again, put them in the comments section. I just saw a few come through. I will try to get to this week and next week. So I do read them, and I try to write them down in my little book and go from there and use your topics to move forward with this. I'm trying to come on 4 days a week. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't have set times just because my schedule is not set exact. So anyway, that's why the notifications are useful, right? But you've got the flow now. So I guess that's it. I will talk to you guys Thursday. Take care. And I think, what did somebody just ask for something? So what am I going to talk about? See if I can find it real quick. I think it's going to be, why a narcissist has the need for control and why they compete. And then we'll talk about something else related to that as well. So that was an interesting question that came out. Okay. I'll see you guys later. You take care. Have a lovely evening. I will see you Thursday. Bye-bye.